9:08 p.m. and to state that no motions or actions were taken.
Second.
Motion by Karen, second by Nicole. Any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Abstained? Chair votes aye. Motion passes 7-0. Next item on the agenda, item number 18, discussion, take possible action on Giannotti grievance. Are there any motions?
I'd like to make a motion to deny the grievance and uphold the recommended punishment.
There's a motion on the floor. Is there a second? Second by Nicole. Is there any discussion by the board? Hearing none. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Abstained? Chair votes aye. Motion passes 7-0. Next item on the agenda is item number 19, appointments. We have no appointments before us tonight. Item number 20, tax refunds and abatements. Nicole.
February 12, 2015, to the Board of Selectmen from the tax collector, the following overpayments of tax payments in total of $1,583.43 need to be approved for refund in accordance with the provisions of Section 12-129 of the Connecticut General Statutes. Dated the 12th day of February 2015, Dana Flock, Tax Office.
Okay. Thank you, Nicole. Can I have a motion to accept the tax collector's report as presented?
So moved.
A motion by Al, second by Len. Is there any discussion? Hearing none. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Abstained? The chair votes aye. Motion passes 7-0. Next item on the agenda is item number 21, transfers. We have one transfer before us this evening. It's control number 3. It's for the Public Works Department. The authorizing person is Dennis Rosen, Director of Public Works. The amount requested is $131,076.96. Of that, $50,000 will be coming out of contingency, line 872, and $81,076.96 will be coming out of fund balance, line 000. It will be going to the following lines: snow plowing, line 422, $103,122.57. Snow plowing overtime, line 131, $23,363.47. Social Security, line 220, $1,787.31. And retirement, line 230, $2,803.62, for a total $131,076.96. Now, as you see in the detail, this is a emergency transfer for snow materials and overtime. We have a spreadsheet attached, and you can see the breakdown there. Also, like I said earlier, if anybody wants to look at the book, you're certainly welcome to. This is in my office. It breaks the detail down for every storm. In this transfer, we are assuming 4 additional storms. Hopefully, that's good. We'll see. Maybe it is, maybe it isn't. We don't know. We definitely, well, I shouldn't say definitely, we're planning one more storm this weekend.
Yep.
We expect that, so this will give us 3 additional storms. We're using about 125 to 130 tons of material a storm, give or take, depending on the severity of the storm. And, the overtime just comes down to when the storm actually hits, whether it's, the perfect storm starts at 7 a.m. and finishes at 1 p.m. Monday through Friday, then there's no overtime. Well, yeah, Sean begs to differ. Unfortunately, a lot of these storms have hit at night, on weekends, and you'll see the breakdown of straight overtime, and then there's actually been a lot of double time. We were in great shape. I actually made a comment, which was probably my own fault, the second week of January, of how lucky we are this year and what we're going to do with the surplus in our account, talking about encumbering it and things for next year, and well, here we are.
So Miller's to blame.
Here we are a month later and a complete punch in the face. So, I will take full responsibility for that. Now, just on the procedural side, if we approve this transfer, it then goes to the Board of Finance, who approves it because of the size by charter. We're going to add to the agenda the adding of a special town meeting for March 3rd at 6:45, so just procedurally what we're doing. So, any questions on this?
What was the original request from Public Works for snow removal? For the Board of Finance, for this budget cycle.
Sean, I don't know them off the top of my head, but it was higher than what was actually budgeted.
That's what I kind of figured.
We request whatever the 5-year average works out to. I believe this year was somewhere between 125 and 145. Always winds up right around in that mark. 3 years ago we had an unusually low year, so that brought the average down. I usually request right around there, 125 to 150. And we usually get
Less-
back to around 80.
less than that. And that was leading up to my second question, which was how does this winter compare overall to previous winters?
Volume of snow, it's more than our average. Our average, I believe, we do like a 10-year average, is 8 to 10 snowball events. We got like 10 a lot of times, so.
So in terms of public works, snow removal, this year is more substantial than the
The
average.
number of
He's getting confused with Stratford.
Thank you.
He's having a hard time keeping all the extra money he's made this year in check.
times you had to pay all the taxes, we kind of.
Oh, here we go. Here we go. Here, I'd love to have the problem you're having right now.
Aren't you
so.
glad you were able to speak?
I know. But, you know, to Sean's point, that's something that him and I have talked about, you know, kidding around a little bit, but the snow material and overtime line does get cut every year, but with the understanding that if we have a bad year like this, that the money's gonna be transferred. So, you know, I'd hate to overtax the residents for something that we may not need, and with the understanding of the Board of Selectmen, Board of Finance have always transferred the money. I'd kinda rather do it that way, to be quite honest with you, but, I do understand the other school of thought, the other argument, so.
We always base our records on 5 years, which is all you can do, rather than game, you know what's gonna happen. Kurt did say, you know, schedule something, we can, that would be nice, if we could schedule something for the holiday.
Then that'd be really good. You know, in conversations with Doug, granted, we're moving the 50,000 out of contingency. The 81,000, the way we're trending now, potentially could just wash out with a surplus from this year. So we may not actually, at the end of the fiscal year, have taken any money out of fund balance, but we're trending that way, but it's still a little early to say the surplus is gonna be that high. So perhaps the surplus might only be, you know, 20 or 30,000, that brings that number down. So, we'll see how it goes. Any other questions or comments? Okay, with that then, I'll entertain a motion to approve, transfer control number 3 for Public Works in the amount of $131,076.96 as mentioned. Oh, boy. Motion by Paul, second by Len. Is there any discussion? Hearing none, all in favor?
Aye.
Opposed, abstained, the chair votes aye, motion passes 7-0. Roy, please pass this along to Doug so it gets on the agenda for the Board of Finance for next Tuesday. At this point, I would like to make a motion to add to the agenda, discussion and possible action regarding special town meeting for March 3rd, 2015 at 6:45 to discuss the transfer, the snow the snow material and overtime transfer requested by Public Works in the amount of $131,076.96.
So moved.
Motion by Len, second by Anne Marie. Is there any discussion? Hearing none, all in favor?
Aye.
Opposed, abstained, the chair votes aye, motion passes 7-0. Next item on the agenda, discussion and possible action regarding setting of a special town meeting for March 3rd, 2015 at 6:45 PM to discuss the $131,076.96 transfer for Public Works for snow material and overtime. Can I have a motion to set that special town meeting?
So moved.
Motion by Nicole, second by Len. Is there any discussion? Hearing none, all in favor?
Aye.
Opposed, abstained? The chair votes aye, motion passes 7-0. Roy, can you just make a note, we'll get that out, we'll file the agenda, and that'll be in your regular packet for next Thursday it is. Okay. Correspondence, we have a couple things just really quick, some are actually kind of fun. One, we have the check register, which as always. We have a resignation letter from Robert Aquavella, from the Recreation Commission. So Roy will go to the list and see who we have there. And then also, I just want to read this letter into the record if I could. This letter came from a student at Chatfield School who after I got the letter, actually gave her a call, and we had a little conversation about it, and then we'll talk a little bit more about it. My name is Brooke Riley. I go to Chatfield Lopresti School. I think that our town, Seymour, should have a community garden. Maybe there is room in Seymour that people can use for gardening. I think it would be a good idea because it would attract more people to Seymour. It would also make our town look better. Also, people that live in apartments would have a place to garden. Gardens improve our environment, and we should take part in keeping our environment clean. I think that if free space is not being utilized, we should use it for a garden. I know it's a lot to ask for, but I've been hoping that it would happen. Sincerely, Brooke Riley. So, I mean, it's a fifth grade student at Lopresti School, Chatfield Lopresti School, excuse me. One, I think it's great that she actually took the time to write a letter about something like this. Like I said, I gave her a call, we talked about it a little bit. You know, she was excited, obviously, that, you know, she got a call back, she figured it would just kind of go by the wayside, so that was kind of fun. In reaching out, I talked to Alex Danka. He said the Seymour Land Trust absolutely has some land that we could use for this. So he's in the process now of trying to find a spot that would work. We had talked a little bit about a dog park as well, so we want to maybe mix the two together somehow. But, you know, when we talked about that Bristol resource money for the transfer station environmental projects, I think that using some of that money for a community garden, I think fits right in the scope of what we were talking about. So, I mean, obviously, we're going to apply for grants. We'll reach out to the Matthews Foundation. This may be something in their wheelhouse as well. But I just wanted to let you know it's something we'll be working on. I've charged Rory with this task because he's kind of green.
I was gonna say, you becoming an environmentalist?
No, Paul, please,
Oh, come on, you are.
please. To revoke my Republican
You're
card
starting to
if I
lean
do
a little
something
bit,
like
you're
that.
starting to lean a little bit.
So, yeah, Rory makes me listen to NPR. Rory makes me listen to NPR every day, so it's having a bad effect on me. But so we'll be working on that, and I'll give updates. Hopefully, for come springtime, maybe we can have something, and that'd be a good thing that we can all.
And she can break the ground.
Absolutely, absolutely.
Turn
So
the first trowel.
that's right.
How
So
awesome is that?
with that, that will close correspondence. Item 23. Is there any public comment? Is there any public comment? Hearing no public comment, and this is 2 meetings in a row that Sean has had nothing to say, which by itself should be an agenda item. We will go to item 24, Selectmen's public comments. Karen?
I'm good.
Karen is good. Karen, just to follow up on your blight committee idea.
Yes.
I know that Rich has reached out to Fran via email. Fran had responded back that he needs to get the information and send it over to him.
Okay.
As of, what day is today? Tuesday. As of Friday, Rich had not received that information yet.
Okay.
So, but I don't think he's gotten it as of yet. But as soon as he gets it, he will forward that over.
Okay.
Okay?
Thank
Just
you.
wanted to follow up with that on you, because I know that was a question you had.
Yes.
So, Paul?
A couple things.
Go ahead.
Mike Flynn is interested in inland wetlands. He had mentioned it to you after the meeting last week, so keep him in mind for inland wetland.
Do we have, I think we have a vacancy for an alternate, do we not?
I thought somebody just resigned is why, or you had two of them.
We may, yeah, but could you just make a note, and we'll check that for Flynn, that'd be okay?
Okay. The next thing was, in a conversation with Ed Stramello, he, as you know, is working on the mentoring program
Mm-hmm.
through the school system, and he asked different departments in town and whoever might want to get involved, and I was very disappointed that he asked the chief of police and it was denied at the chief level. I'm not saying some of the officers wouldn't be interested in being mentors. It was just that they would not be interested in taking part in it. Kind of disappointing because I would like to see some police officers. And I know this from a personal level, and I might embarrass you, Nicole, but my son and Nicole's husband had a good relationship when my son was at school, and it meant a lot to my son. So I think that there are police officers that would like to be mentors, and I think that they should be approached again.
I didn't know that, so I will check with the chief
Yeah,
on that.
yeah.
And like, positive note to that, we actually filled up all that they needed, and we actually have extra.
Yeah, that's the good thing. I know
So,
that. Ed told me
well,
that, but I was a little disappointed with that.
Yeah, no,
That it wasn't brought to the department, more than anything.
I'll reach out to that. I'll reach out on that, I should
Yeah,
say that.
and another thing, this is a different subject. I think with the winter we've had, we'll see how well the pothole killer works.
Yeah,
I know there's some popping up already, but I don't think to the extreme, but I don't know. I mean, obviously,
No.
it's too early to tell.
on Cedar Street, I took a ride down that the other day, and what we're seeing is where the pothole killer did its work, we're starting to see some seams form off of it.
Yeah.
oddly enough. We did hire an engineer, actually Don Smith. He did an analysis before the winter, and he will do an analysis in the spring, just to see how they held up, and then he'll give us a report as to that. So, I have put money in the budget for road repair, on top of the money that, the regular road repair that we're doing for, whether it be crack filling, I won't say the other word, because we don't do that, but pothole repair, things like that. So, you know, our goal with this budget, we get town road aid, is to truly use town road aid on our roads, not have it just, in the past practice, as it just goes into what we spend, and we never spend that much on the roads. The goal is to get it to that. It's 400 and some odd thousand. We are nowhere near that, but we are slowly working towards that number. So hopefully we'll be there. So, but point,
I'm set, thank you.
good point. Nicole?
To go off what Paul said about the mentoring program, I'd be curious, again, I think it would be an asset to have our police officers be part of this mentoring program, and curious if there was a reason why the chief said no,
Yeah.
that we don't know.
Yeah.
And to that, did they ask the fire department? Do you know?
I don't know. I just know that Ed mentioned that.
Right, maybe we
the
can look
chief
into
gave
that.
him an outright no, and.
Right,
And that included the SRO officer too. That's surprising.
Yeah,
right.
yeah. And, you know, not for nothing, I don't mean to interrupt you,
No.
but, you know, so the female police officers, I think, would be a great asset to, as well as the
Yes.
Oh, that'd be a good role model, absolutely.
Right.
You know,
And
absolutely.
again, why the fire department, maybe if they were asked why they weren't, and even, you know,
Yeah.
emergency management, the, you know, the paramedics, also EMS. So I'd like to look into that. Also, second subject, as I'm chair of the turf committee, again, all three candidates were great candidates that we were able to choose from. We could have picked any of them, and they all would have done a great job. But in the end, the committee felt strongly as a whole that Mavis and Young would serve the town in our best interests. So looking forward to working with them and the board going forward. Thank you.
Thank you. Al?
We've had a pretty rough winter, as we all know. It's not over yet. We've had some high winds. I think that when the snow melts, we're going to see a lot of debris in our town in terms of just when winter brothers are beyond their control, when a 40-mile-an-hour gust comes and takes some of the recycling and throws it to the side of the road, we're going to see a lot of things underneath the snow. I was curious, have you thought about a Seymour Goes Green campaign? I know you're just joking before about your lack of concern for our environment around town.
What kind of a pill did you just
Yeah.
take, Kurt?
Better take something, because we're gonna have a lot of garbage around town to clean up.
I
So,
may need a recess.
I know Public Works isn't gonna be able to handle it all. So I'm thinking, can
You can
kids
do it
do
Earth
some
Day
community
again.
service?
Well, one of the things we had talked about last meeting was the Seymour Sweeps program, and that's right along those lines,
Okay.
where we will go around on a quarterly basis and determine that information. Unfortunately, with the amount of snow we have,
Oh, no, you can't do it now.
yeah, so
I'm
I
saying, once everything melts, you're gonna see a lot of garbage.
think we're targeting April. As I said, myself, Dennis, and Tony will do the first run,
Yep,
and then we will use light-duty employees every quarter thereafter. Rory is going to have a spot on the website where residents can go right in.
okay.
Specifically, and that information will come directly to Rory and myself, and then we'll assign the tasks as necessary. One of the things that I put in the budget for town buildings is an expansion of the downtown attendant position. That person will also maintain town hall, the police department, the library, the community center, and the fire stations. That work should be able to be done probably in 3 or 4 days, which would lead a 5th day to use on assignments like that, whether it be weed needs to be pulled here, or garbage needs to be picked up, things like that. I prefer not to waste our public works employees on picking up garbage, things like that, because they're gonna have a ton of road work to do.
Yep.
And I'd rather they were able to stay focused on that.
Just giving a heads up, I think we're gonna see a lot of it when it melts, because I picked up a lot of it just on my little street, and it just blows all over the place.
Maybe if you people put your tops down. Garbage can
We
at the top.
do put our
We
tops
do.
down.
You flip it over.
Unfortunately, with this new system that we all approved, which we love, one of the drawbacks is when they put the can back, it always flips the top open.
That's how you know that they've taken their garbage.
So it doesn't really stay closed. It gets rained on, gets snowed on, things come out that maybe weren't taken by accident. Things fly out.
Maybe if you brought your
They
cans
tip
in.
over.
Brought your can in that day.
Some work for a living.
Excuse me.
Okay, next.
Excuse me. Well, told
I've been waiting on that one for a while. He's gotten me so many times.
Moving on.
Yeah, no more comments from Al?
That one chambered.
I'm
Amber.
glad to see the Maple Street School, the Presti School has sold.
Yes.
And that we finally got the money in, and that we can start doing renovations and improvements to the town buildings that need to be to move the town forward. So that was a good thing. I know, with all the snow that we were talking about, the snow and the budgets, and I just think it's because of the way the storms have been hitting. And I have to say, Public Works has been doing the best that they could. I understand keeping up with it and not wanting to go out when it's snowing right away, because you don't want to have the roads so icy. And understanding the whole school delays and postponements of 6 days so far for Alana School. But I think everybody's just doing a good job, and you're doing a great job with notifying everybody through the Code Red and through Facebook. But I did want to know that, say that in the town of Beacon Falls, the town was offering something for all the residents to go out there and to shovel. They had fire hydrants on their property, to go out there and clear the fire hydrants. And if you were the first 10 people to send in pictures to the town's webpage to let them know that you did it, they gave like a $25 gift certificate to a local restaurant, or like to a froyo or something like that. I thought that was a good idea, because it helps our firefighters. They don't have to be worried about doing the fire hydrants. It gets the town people involved in it. And
Go out and do 10 right away.
I was gonna say. Honey, good news, going out to dinner this weekend.
hey, I mean, it's a little something.
I don't disagree with you. We put a note out on Facebook about the 3x3x3
Yeah.
around the fire hydrant. But that's a good idea. Maybe that's something we can put in for next year.
Incentivize.
Yeah.
Because I think
Karen
now,
and I are gonna say to that.
I think now it's tough. 'Cause you're
I
cutting
don't
through. I mean, you need a
have-
chainsaw at this point to get to some of it.
I don't have a fire extinguisher,
Pickaxe.
a fire hydrant over by my house, but,
Me neither.
I would gladly send my husband or my child out there to shovel one out.
Well, listen, Don,
As would.
She's still awake.
as common folk down in city proper, we have that
Here we
issue.
go with the McMansion.
You
Oh, here we
McMansioners, you McMansioners up on the hill.
Here we
Len, I don't even know how to
You know-
classify you living on the water.
We have a river.
That's separate. to me.
Len's beachfront.
We don't have.
Maybe worse, right?
We don't have sidewalks or fire hydrants or sewers.
You know why?
No.
Because your houses are
Water.
so big, they take up all the space.
Talking about country club.
Right, Sean, you're with me. Sean's with me.
Really?
I'm gonna go shove other people's fire.
But it saves our firefighters from,
Oh, I agree.
they're taking a drone light to shovel out fire hydrants.
No, it's actually a very good idea. So Rory will make note of that, and I'm sure Bert or someone like that would be more than happy to throw a few gift certificates our way. So,
LBJ, go.
Seymour Beachfront has no comments.
no comments from a waterfront.
Waterfront properties are fine.
Yeah, that's right, all's well on the
You
waterfront.
have the water right there.
As long as the river stays where it is.
Right.
Yeah.
But we were notified
wanted
of
on the
potential
hill.
flooding.
Well, it's so frozen right now, it's not running.
I know. It's unbelievable.
Okay, so if there's no other comments, Warren, anything from you? All right, with that, I will entertain a motion to adjourn.
I make a motion to adjourn.
Second.
Motion by Anne Marie, second by Karen. Any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
I don't know, no? Abstain. Close the meeting at 7:32 PM.
What?
9. Sorry.